When something is described as being unlike anything you've ever experienced before, it often means it has surpassed everything else in its field. When I describe Baby Steps as unlike anything you've ever experienced before, it's not because it's exceeded expectations. It is, quite simply, a game like no other. Every single person will have a distinctly unique experience with it. Baby Steps is created by Maxi Bach, Gabe Casillo, and Bennett Foddy, the developers of 2019's Ape Out. While Bennett Foddy's name is notoriously associated with rage-inducing classics, Getting Over It, and QWOP, so you might expect Baby Steps to be an incredibly frustrating time. However, it's actually a wonderful game about exploration, mechanical challenge, and a journey through the absolutely bizarre that has no interest in offering explanation, nor does it need to. But despite its uncompromising challenge, after 25 long hours and over 70,000 steps, I've officially conquered Baby Steps. I refuse to use any other word to describe this feat because the journey feels like one of the most significant video game accomplishments I've ever managed. Hours upon hours of trials and tribulations, a genuine sense of curiosity as I explored its surprisingly vast world, and final moments that gave me heart palpitations as one little misstep would undo hours of progress. I could have cried when I finally put that final foot forward.
What is Baby Steps? Good question. Let me know when you find out.
You play as Nate, a 35-year-old man who lives in his parents' basement playing video games and watching One Piece all day, as they seemingly dispute the enabling of this behavior. Suddenly, however, he's popped out of existence and is dropped into a pond in a strange cave. Nate isn't so great at walking, and after a few steps of trying, you'll bump into a strange man called Jim. This is the first of many odd interactions with unique characters in this game, as Nate's lack of social communication skills means he outright refuses help that would otherwise make things so much easier. Shoes? A map? A grappling hook? No, he feels too awkward to accept any of that. And so begins your journey through this strange world as you take things one step at a time, controlling each leg individually with a press of the trigger buttons. Considering my playthrough took 70,000 individual steps, that translates to approximately 35,000 button presses of each trigger. Buckle up, friends.
Don't expect any explanation to Baby Steps.
Why are you here? What is here? Where do you go? Why do you need to walk? Why is everyone so strange? Why do these awkward social interactions still feel more comprehensive than when I talk to strangers in reality? These will probably be the questions you want answered during the game's opening minutes. But here's the thing. These questions are not going to be answered. They don't need to be. All you have to do is walk. Just keep walking. It's a weird world of obstacles, slippery slopes, and even a few little side objectives for you to attempt. I stumbled across a crumbling tower made of large stone bricks located deep within a forest, completely off the beaten path and nowhere near where I needed to be, but a discovery I made naturally while exploring this unpredictable world. Upon approaching the base of the tower, a fellow hiker told me it was not worth climbing, having just descended themselves. They insisted that, despite only taking a few minutes to climb, it was pointless. So I proceeded to spend the next several hours doing just that. One of those was spent purely attempting to retrieve my froggy hat that I had dropped on a previous fall, just out of reach upon some precarious bricks. I never even managed to reach the top, but it still felt like an important part of my journey.
There's plenty to do and plenty more for me to see yet.
During my 25 hours with Baby Steps, I made sure to thoroughly explore each and every region. I would tackle side objectives, investigate odd structures along the way, and reach for as many fruits and hats, a couple of the game's collectibles, as possible. Each one of those things could equate to several hours of gameplay, but every single part was engaging and unique. And there's still so much I'm yet to see and do. Not only do I want to return to retry challenges and obstacles I walked away from, but there are numerous achievements mentioning things I don't even recall discovering.
The humor walks a fine line and might slip now and then.
Outside of its obvious focus on walking as a gameplay mechanic, humor is another aspect that drives Baby Steps forward. Unexpected encounters with the various imaginative characters do a wonderful job of showing the game's intentionally awkward and strange animation style. Cutscenes are consistently entertaining, made more so when you could clearly hear breaks in character as the actors were having so much fun bringing their characters to life. It feels like most of the dialogue was dynamically recorded, perhaps even largely improvised, helping to make these moments infinitely more hilarious. However, there were times when the humor didn't hit. At the start of the campaign, you're asked if you'd like to censor any nudity in the game. Weird for a game about walking, but sure, I'll leave it uncensored, I thought. Turns out there is a lot of nudity in Baby Steps in a way that leans too far into a reliance on imagery and the aforementioned awkwardness. This is very much a personal opinion when it comes to humor, of course, and I'm sure many people will find it all the more hilarious for this reasoning specifically. I just wasn't a fan of numerous characters enjoying the mountain breeze a little too much while climbing up mountains. Even when certain comedic elements failed to land, others continued to feel like utter strokes of genius. I don't want to explain any one moment, as the brilliance is in the discovery of finding out for yourself, but so many times I found myself laughing out loud at the game, at the frustration, and at myself. That is where I could feel the influence of Bennett Foddy coming through.
Music designed to make you ape out.
The best way I can think of to describe the music for Baby Steps is, you know how digital pianos have modes that give each key a random sound effect? Quacks, thumps, or a guy just going, yeah? Now imagine if the composers of Ape Out got their hands on one of those keyboards and had no one standing between them and what would be the final product. Each area has its own unique sound effects, but they all play into the dynamic music that continually adapts to how you're playing. On the move and doing some risky traversal, it's going to kick in a little bit more. Taking a casual jaunt through a lovely and peril-free forest, expect things to sound significantly softer. In complete honesty, I ended up muting the music for the latter half of my playthrough, not because I hated it, but because it matched every little thing I did so well. Too well. Those long hours of trying to clamber up something so precarious, only to be mocked with animal noises and drum beats when I'd fall, I'd rather see than my own silence. Thank you very much.
I can't explain Baby Steps, but I can recommend it. Baby Steps is a simplistic exercise in tedium, yet it also manages to be wonderfully engaging and fun with a tone that strays inexplicably far into the bizarre. Your adventure is one defined by adversity, silence, and memorable moments of atmospheric whiplash that will stay with me for a very long time to come. You might have an inkling that a game like this hides more serious tones and messaging beneath the surface, and you'd be right. Though it never delivers that message blatantly or pulls the rug directly from under your feet, I honestly prefer this subtlety and how everyone will likely interpret things in their own way. It's something very special indeed. Despite reaching the end of this exhaustive review, I promise you that Baby Steps still isn't the game you think it's going to be. No, I can assure you that nothing can prepare you for everything it does. Whether you love certain elements or hate them, all of them are worth testing your patience, endurance, and curiosity in order to experience a game that is unlike anything I've played this year. You won't regret it after those final steps. Everything Baby Steps does, it executes with excellence, and I can't think of anything else like it.